Welcome to another Demarcation Media Mega Construx review. Today we have the first of the Fallout sets. So Fallout is a line that the community has been what-ifing about for years. So, we like to what if Mega got this, what if Mega got that. And Fallout's been one that is, people keep bringing it up. Fallout would be great, Fallout would be great. And they decided Fallout would be great. And here we have the Red Rocket Truck Stop. This is one of two sets that kind of introduced the Fallout line. There is the T60 Power Armor Collection that is an Amazon exclusive releasing in November, middle to end of November. This is also releasing in November, middle to end of November. And it was a Target exclusive. Now, that means a lot of people can't get it. Outside of the US, you can't really get it because it's just, you can't get it from Target. So my guess, and it's all signs point to this, is it's going to be the same as the Xbox 360. Now, I don't know this for 100% certain, but what happened with the Xbox 360 was there was a pre-order on Target. It sold out really quick. They restocked it, and then they started stocking it in stores. I don't know if we'll see this in stores, but I hope we do. And then it went on to Mattel Creations for the worldwide people after about a month or so, I think, of being available from Target. So my hope, and like I said, all the signs point to this, that this will be the same. It'll release on Target, and then we'll eventually see it on Mattel Creations. This is too big of a deal for them not to do that. So if you're outside of the US, hang in there. There is plenty of hope that this will be available for you guys. So let's go ahead and look at this box. So the front of the box is not your standard render. There's like a painterly effect over the whole thing to make it look old, almost like a cell shading effect, which I think is partially cool and also partially makes it look like some of the pieces are going to come weathered, and I don't think that they do. It also makes the power armor here not have the little symbols that it has, but I do like the color scheme. I love how we got the power armor up there. It's like the old style is like, I don't know, it works really well. We got some bricks here, and this is so funny. The box comes looking like it's old and worn, which is kind of awesome. We get to see the power armor on the side, and then here we get to see just some Fallout branding and more beat upness. On the top, look at that. Look at that. And then, of course, around the back, we get to see all the details of the set itself, all the removable accessories. We get to see some of the extra collectibles of collectibles, as the Mega designers put it. We see that we can pop the Soul Survivor's head onto the power armor if we want to have like an unmasked version. And oh gosh, I'm actually excited about a Mega set for once, because this has so much potential. Oh, okay, let's get this thing open. So I know there was a lot of LEGO fans that were upset about this set and the T60 Power Armor Collection, because the LEGO purists think that LEGO should have gotten the Fallout license, and I have to respectfully disagree. As a former LEGO purist, LEGO could not do Fallout any justice, because number one, it's a very mature game, it's a very mature theme, and it's just not LEGO's wheelhouse. And in addition to that, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's hilarious. What does it have on the other side? Oh my gosh, they went all out on this one. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the mature themes would not work for them. And also, I don't think that the power armors would look any good. Oh my gosh, speaking of power armor, I don't think the power armors would look any good in LEGO, because they have such an iconic silhouette that you really need something like an action figure to properly capture it and to actually get some posability. The LEGO ones would just be fat. They would just be short and fat. So for all the LEGO purists, if you ended up on this video because you saw Fallout and you're a Fallout fan and a LEGO fan, please give this a try. Mega's not the same as it used to be, and they have improved a lot. They are more than just a LEGO bootleg. I was once a purist myself. I thought this was Mega was stupid, and then I tried it and I was like, you know what? This is actually really cool. They do actually put work into their product and not just steal Lego stuff. Heck, some of Lego's current pieces are actually stolen from Mega, so it goes both ways. But look at this. Very classy instructions. Very, very classy. Whoa. This is an experience. There's a Pip-Boy. We got some more art with that painterly effect. We got, oh, it shows you which section you're building. Oh, dang, this is cool. This is cool. Okay, so this will have been built live. So if you want to go and watch the live build, it'll be up in the corner, and we will come back as soon as this is all put together. And there you have it. That is the whole set put together. As a whole, the build process was pretty fun. You build it in 3 segments. The designers intended for you to build it in almost a narrative form. So as you build, you first build the section that contains the sole survivor. So you meet him first, and then you get the dog in the next segment. And then in the final segment, you find the T60 power armor. So that was really cool. This whole thing is packed with tons of little details, nods at the game, printed parts. It's very good. The one oddity of the build is that these pieces up here, the instructions tell you to put the lower green piece up over here. There's an attachment point there too, but then the box shows it like this. I personally prefer it this way, so I put it this way. There's a little attachment there, but you can do it either way. That's not really a problem. Let's go ahead and take a look at the extras before we look at the figures. As is usual for Mega, they have left a ton of extra pieces, enough to make me worry that I did something wrong. They just do this. There's a lot of parts here. A lot of parts. A lot of useful ones too. Some strange ones. You get a brick separator. Now the really, really cool part is they have printed little posters and whatnot. And there's a perk little thing here that are scattered. Oops, this one's upside down. They're scattered around the red rocket. Now they give you extras here, and each one has 2 variants. There's a variant that has legible words, and then there's a more worn variant that is all scratched up. So you can choose how old and beat up you want your red rocket to be, which is just absolutely mind-blowing that they took that extra step to give 2 different versions of each of these printed pieces. That's absolutely insane. So good. Lego would never do that. They would give you an extra sticker and be like, hey, you can put the other sticker on if you want. But Mega went all the way and gave us a full set of extra printed pieces. So our first figure is the Sole Survivor. He comes with a stand. There's also an extra stand for the power armor if you want that. And holy moly, there's a lot going on here. First off, he comes with the laser rifle. The laser rifle is very cool. It's very well molded. It has lots of nice print work, but there is a big problem with it, and that is the fact that the stock is so long and sticks so far down. It's pretty much impossible to actually have any figure shoulder the weapon. It really needs to be a lot shorter. They could have made these little holes here a lot smaller and just reshaped the stock a bit. As it is, it's kind of only usable in like resting positions, which is unfortunate. You do get a laser to peg in there. It fits pretty well. You will probably have to bend the laser into place because these are very flexible and they get bent while being packed. So yeah, it's very cool and also very disappointing because they just, I don't know if they didn't measure the pieces or what, but it just doesn't quite work out. The figure himself, though, this is pretty cool. So this is a mishmash of Call of Duty parts and Halo parts and brand new parts. So for brand new parts, we have the Pip-Boy, which I originally thought was going to be a Halo Reach forearm with a tack pad, but no, they made a whole new piece for that Pip-Boy, which is awesome. And then he's also got a new harness thing. I believe it's new. I haven't seen it anywhere else. Over top of his uniform. The lower legs have Call of Duty boots. The upper legs are the newer Marine legs. He's got, I think that forearm is from Assassin's Creed. He's got a Marine torso. I think that's what that is. And then the shoulder armor is from the Heretic Elites. Waist piece is from Marines. Thigh piece is Call of Duty. The head is Captain Keyes. Now, this guy has very, very pale skin. I'm not 100% sold on how pale they made the skin. Like, I know the Vault Survivor or the Soul Survivor has pretty pale skin, but like, I would have liked to see it a little bit less pale. Next to Keyes, he looks a bit strange. But yeah, that's Keyes' head. And then I think that's all the pieces that are of note. And then he's got print on the chest, which is really nice. Around the back, he has the Vault 111 print, but it's right smack dab on the hole, which is, I don't really know how they could have gotten around that because that's where it's supposed to be positioned. There's just a hole there. Overall, really nice figure. You could easily, get multiples of these, pop and swap the hands and the head to other things to make other survivors. It's pretty cool. I do like the harness a lot. That's probably my favorite part. And then that Pip-Boy is just pretty much perfect. I really couldn't ask for better than that. You get the trusty dog, Dogmeat. I believe Dogmeat is the name. Since I haven't played Fallout 4, all I know is that you see this dog a lot in the trailers. And he, I believe, uses the same pieces as the Call of Duty dogs, but he's painted up differently. He's got articulation for the neck and the lower neck and the tail and the legs. Those can come apart. Print work, paint work, however you want to call it, is pretty nice. He's got the little scarf around his neck. Some of the joints, like half the joints are really stiff, half the joints are kind of loose. I think that comes from the fact that he was sprayed with the paint. I think some of it got gummed up in his joints, so I might have to take him apart. So just be aware that he might come with kind of sticky joints. He has a little peg hole, so you could give him a saddlebag or something. Overall, it's really nice to see the dog piece back again. We haven't seen this in a mega set in a good long while. I actually never even got one, so I'm happy to have one. And I think accuracy-wise, it's pretty darn close to what we see in the game. So that's a win there. And then we have the T60 Power Armor, looking as iconic as ever. And this right here convinced me more than anything that Mega was the right choice for the Fallout line, because this is such a chunky silhouette. Those massive shoulders, that such wide head, it just doesn't work for Lego. I've seen plenty of like boot Lego or customs trying to replicate this armor, and it just doesn't work. But Mega has done a very good job here. There's a lot of detail. The whole figure has this kind of bronzy wash that's like emulating rust, basically. Around the back, he has print work for the little wheel and then some pipes. And then his head has print for the eyes, the tubes, and the little light. And then the front of the shoulder armors have printing for those little indents. Now, this has a lot of new pieces and some pieces we are very familiar with. So the undersuit is actually a Spartan undersuit, which is, I think, in my opinion, pretty smart use. The groin piece is also Spartan. That's like the Halo Wars Spartan groin piece. And then the shoulders underneath the shoulders are Destiny. Those were originally Destiny pieces, and then were reused for Halo Infinite Marines. And then that's pretty much where the existing pieces end. The forearms, the leg armor, the lower legs, the chest plate, the head, and the shoulders are all brand new. The shoulders have articulation. Mine are a bit loose, and I imagine other people will end up with them being a bit loose too. They're on a hinge, so you could pop it off and tighten it up. Because this guy has a wash, you may have his head be stuck. So if it is stuck when you get it, you can just grab it around the back like this and pull forward and pop it off. And once you pop it off a single time, you should be good to go from there. I think looks-wise is pretty much perfect. My only nitpick, if I had to nitpick, would be the lower legs. I think that the feet section should have been a little bit more forward, and perhaps the whole piece should have been a little bit longer, giving him extra height. The power armors kind of have longer legs, and then their arms look a little stubby. So I think making the lower legs a bit longer would have been good, and it would have allowed for, the bigger feet and whatnot. The feet themselves aren't actually smaller than normal. They can still fit on a stud. But yeah, I just would have liked to see that be a little bigger. He does look a little bit knock-kneed. However, I was looking back at especially the Fallout show, and when they're walking in the power armor, they actually do look a bit knock-kneed. So I guess that's accurate. But overall, yeah, I'm just so happy to see this in mega form. I'm not even a Fallout fan. It's just such an iconic piece of gaming in my mind. Like, whenever I see this, I instantly know, oh yeah, I know what that is. It's the Fallout power armor. And this is just recreated with such high amounts of detail. And there's just not that many good action figures out there for T60 power armor. There's like 3 Zeros stuff, but those are very expensive. Having a small, affordable little power armor that's such high amounts of detail is absolutely just awesome. And I'm so happy to see the washes come back. That rust effect is just perfect. Articulation really is not inhibited. The head obviously has a little bit of limitations if you rotate it too much because it's just so wide. But other than that, I'm pretty impressed with the level of movement it still gets because, you know, the big shoulders don't really get in the way that much because Mega was smart enough to put them on a hinge. So yeah, if you're looking for a power armor figure, you look no further. You found it. This is it. This is it, unless you want to pay like $300 for a 301. Now let's talk about the Red Rocket itself. This isn't a huge build, and it's not to scale exactly because this awning section should be far larger. You should be able to drive a truck through it. However, that would make this a very large set, and I think the size that it is doesn't feel too bad. It almost feels like a section, and I think with multiple of the sets, you could potentially expand it and make it more to scale. The Red Rocket sign is all built up. It's built attached to clips and whatnot to give it that very ramshackle look. The C is falling off. It's pretty nice. Building it's a little tedious, but it's pretty nice end result. Over on the side with the rocket section itself, there is an old gas pump that's got some pieces missing. There is a little plant. I'm not sold on how the plant attaches. It just kind of pegs in there. And I think it could have done with something else. So it kind of just is in there by, I don't know, its own friction, but you can easily fire it off. And I don't think it's supposed to be a flick missile. So that is what it is. I would have preferred to see a different attachment point. The build for the rocket up on top is very nice. You kind of have to be careful as you're putting that on because there's a lot of ball joints, a lot of things that can pop out of place. But if you're careful, it's not too bad. Now, the thing that I really want to point out here is that the red line here that goes all the way around here and all the way across the front and around the side, that's all printed. So that's a lot of printed parts. It has rust printed onto it. It looks so good. Again, if this was Lego, those would 100% be stickers. We have 2 Nuka-Cola bottles scattered around. We have a standard Nuka-Cola bottle, and we have a Nuka-Cola Quantum, which is really cool. There is a little Nuka-Cola vending machine around the side. Unfortunately, it doesn't work or anything, but you can set a cola in this little section here. And if you want, you can also pop it free and move it around. It's not that hard. And then around the back, it's pretty bare bones. It is the back, though, and it's supposed to be a ramshackle building, so I'm not really too miffed about it being ramshackle looking. On the roof, you've got more greenery and some vents and old AC unit and whatnot. So on the outside, it looks really, really nice. I think that it would fit in really well with other Mega buildings. While I was building this on stream, some of my viewers were mentioning how the old Mega Construx Call of Duty like Nuketown and Zombies sets would fit really well with this, and I have to agree. I think that would be great. The doorway is perfect to fit the figure through, and then we have that garage door, so you can have that iconic shot of the power armor on its little dock bay thing looking through. That's really neat. I actually really like that. Now, there is no door to go down over it. However, if you want to get inside, you just give it a pull. There's this little peg, and this whole thing hinges open, and it can almost hinge back onto itself. Almost. But you can grab the roof on this side. These are on hinges so that they don't get in the way of the sloped roof that it's next to. And then this pops off, and then you can get light down in both sides, which is great. On this side, you get to see a shelf through the door, And then there's that poster for the vault. And then on this side, we have the little robot poster, and then a little tiny Vault Boy bobblehead, a collectible of the collectible, as the Mega designer said. That's awesome. I absolutely love that. It's such a great detail. You can pop this whole assembly out, so you can display the power armor individually if you would like to. This is the same assembly that is used in the upcoming T60 Power Armor collection, so you're going to have to build a lot of these if you get both sets. It's not the worst, but it's a bit fiddly. Once you take that out, you have a big empty space, but that allows you access to the removable workbench, which is actually a pretty nice build. For just being very simple, it's not bad. And this is where your little perk card, or whatever you want to call it, I don't know what it's called in game, but that's where that hides. And you can just slide it in there, fits in place. There is just like a single stud in there that attaches it on, so it's very easy to remove, which I like. I like that we can remove it without too much trouble, and then you just close it back up. You can even leave the roof off if you want and get the light coming down through, because you can't actually see that the roof is missing from a normal level perspective of this. In terms of size, I don't feel like there's a ton that I can compare it with other than like a Razorback. So here is a Razorback from Halo, which is about the same size as a Warthog. That doesn't really look improper, to be honest, having this pulled up. Obviously, you know, this is not going to fit in the garage, but it doesn't look wrong. And also the Warthogs and whatnot are just very tall vehicles. So would it have been nice to get a really big red rocket? Sure. Does this look bad? No, it doesn't look bad at all. So here's the big question, and the one that's probably going to be most irksome to LEGO fans who want Fallout stuff. What's the quality like? So parts-wise, I was actually pretty impressed. The parts quality feels pretty nice. Mega still, you know, they have some trouble sometimes, but this one felt pretty good. I didn't have any pieces that struggled to go together. They all fit together quite well. There wasn't any warped parts. There weren't any missing parts. And the clutch is pretty good. There are a few fiddly bits here, but that's also because of the way this is built. So things can pop apart if you're not careful. Like this, for example, this will pop apart if you're not careful, but you also have to get it positioned right, which is easier said than done. Figure-wise, the quality feels pretty nice. I don't have any of the wobbly hand issues. This guy does have one hand that isn't the most grippy. Like, you can fit things in, but he doesn't click as well. And then the thing that I mainly noticed was loose parts. So like this joint is a little loose. These are a bit loose. His knee is a little loose. So loose joints seem to be the main thing that I would say is a quality control problem. Other than that, it feels pretty good to me. The dog has sticky joints. Same kind of thing. And then this is just a design thing, but the laser gun again, that's pretty disappointing. I would have liked to see that, you know, a little bit better thought through. So there you have it. That is the Mega Red Rocket set from the Fallout line. And there's a couple things that I want to talk about before we end off. First of all, I forgot to mention, they do advertise that you can swap the Soul Survivor's head onto the power armor, so you can have kind of an unmasked power armor. That's fine. I mean, it's just pop and swap. You just end up with a weird leftover figure, so I feel like keeping the heads as they are, unless you just want to display with the unmasked guy. I don't know. That's just a little strange. I don't feel like that's worth advertising, but for people that are new to the line, I guess maybe they wouldn't know that. And then we need to talk about the price. The price of this is like $80 retail, which I highly recommend you try to get at retail and don't overpay. Is that a fair price? It feels a little steep, primarily because there's only 2 figures and the dog. I think, like other people were saying, if there was a female survivor as well, that would be great. Although then that kind of gets rid of the soul survivor aspect. Maybe an extra head would have done just fine. I think a couple of villain figures of some sort. I don't really know who all would fit with this because, again, I'm not a Fallout person, but I think some sort of combat scenario would have been good, or extra weapons aside from just the laser gun, something. But as it is, with the amount of printed parts, which is very high, with the amount of new pieces for the figures, it doesn't feel too horrible to me. It feels just on the edge of what's okay. Because it's essentially rivaling Lego's older prices, which was, they tend to be 10 cents per part. Lately, they've been way more than that, but this is basically 10 cents per part, which doesn't feel too bad. Again, the quality of the parts is pretty good. The end result's pretty good. It's not a huge build. You know, maybe some more size for the money would have been nice. The way it is now, with the amount of care that went into this, with the amount of detail, with the amount of printed parts, I feel like $80 is solid. Just on the edge of being overpriced, but it's solid. So if you're a Mega Construx fan who's been into, Halo or Call of Duty for a while, or if you're a Lego fan who's interested in Fallout, I would recommend you get a copy of this set if it's available. I'm hoping that, like the Xbox, once it releases on the 10th, we'll see plenty of stock, and then we'll see it on Mattel Creations worldwide, because this is something that everybody needs to be able to get. This is a big deal. This could be the start of the next big Mega line. We don't know, but as it is awesome. I am very happy to have it. I'm actually really looking forward to taking photos of this, because it's not too hard to pick up and move the Red Rocket itself, but also the Power Armor and the Survivor are just going to be great out and, slap them down somewhere in an empty wasteland and take a photo, and it's awesome. So I'm pretty happy with it. I don't really have that many complaints. The laser rifle is my biggest one. Laser rifle and loose joints. Other than that, the designers absolutely blew this out of the park. Mega themselves may have been struggling lately, but the designers have never lost sight of what Mega actually is, because this is awesome. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.